If you can sit and brainstorm about different ways to get your business out, ways to make passive income, I just love the entrepreneur world. I think it has so much drive, so much spirit, and it brings the kind of people that I like to surround myself with. The problems can show up as anger. They can show up as depression. They can show up as anxiety. They can show up as addiction. And just like knowing that you're not emotionally regulated is a huge key. Your brain doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future. So right now, you rewrite that story and you are more emotionally regulated as an adult. Not that it would be just one and done, right? It's going to take time, but it is so much more immersive and powerful when you can actually truly see that inner child, and that's what we are literally bringing into life.
Welcome back to the Hustle and Grind podcast, the show where we dig into why real entrepreneurs trade comfort for conviction. This isn't about vanity metrics or overnight success. It's about the stories behind building a reputation that actually matters. I'm your host, Andrew, keynote architect, platform builder, and fellow founder in the trenches. Today, I'm sitting down with Tricia Keightley, the founder of WebWorks, a design agency that brings brands into energetic alignment with their true essence. With 14 years of experience, Tricia merges the science of strategy with the soul of transformation. She's also the creator of Portrayals XR, a cutting-edge virtual reality platform designed for deep emotional healing. A spiritual entrepreneur, published author, and certified NLP, Tricia is here to remind us that businesses can be sacred and healing can be revolutionary. So Tricia, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate you being here, and I'm super excited to bring your company, Portrayals XR, to the forefront. I think it's something that's really necessary right now. I think a lot of people are doing inner spiritual work, and I think your tool can really help them to do that. So excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to do, I'd like people to get used to what you do and what your secret ninja skill is.
So what am I really good at? Actually, I would say probably marketing is really like business ideas are am I really good at. Someday I want to literally just be the visionary of a company and do nothing else except business ideas. Don't we all?
Love it. So just be what part of the visionary process do you like the most, though?
I think the brainstorming. If you can sit and brainstorm about different ways to get your business out, ways to make passive income. I just love the entrepreneur world. I think it has so much drive, so much spirit, and it brings the kind of people that I like to surround myself with. Absolutely. I did that last night with a friend of mine. We spent 4 hours on a meeting just brainstorming, and two visionaries bouncing ideas back and forth. That is my world. That is my version of heaven. I mean, it was intense. It was later in the evening. We were both kind of falling off towards the end of it, but I'll tell you, we got more done. I had more fire put back into me in that one moment because we're both in the same build phase, right? And you get to those things where you have to do a bunch of things you're not really good at, that you don't really want to do. They're not really revenue generating. They don't light your fire. And you have that moment when it's just go. That creative process is so much fun. So I 100% understand what you're doing and what that is. I would love to have a job just doing the brainstorming. That's the fun part. Whiteboards. We love whiteboards.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So now, you've had a lot of experience in branding, marketing. That's your world, but you have another project coming up now. Like you're in this build mode on a project. So do me a favor. Let us know what is Portrayals XR? We'll start there.
Yeah, so we are using AI, neuroscience, and we are subconsciously reprogramming and doing inner child healing with that. So there are quite a few different solutions that we're using. We are creating it in virtual reality and as a mobile app as well. So the business is actually 3 years old, believe it or not, but I don't think the market was ready 3 years ago. And now the market is absolutely ready. I'm sure all of you have seen the TikTok videos where you're literally being able to hug Jesus or, just the different videos of hugging grandpa or grandma. And so the market is absolutely ready for what we're doing. We're just using it in a different way to be able to create deep healing from the root cause of whatever happened.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And what does that look like? I know as somebody who's done inner child work, it was something I didn't think I needed until I learned about it. And I'm like, wait, this is the hidden key. Oh, that's what this is. I think we all know that we've got things from our past that we're dealing with. I don't think at least when I first started this journey, I've been on a 5-year self-improvement journey. Started with an ayahuasca retreat in Peru in 2020 and has gone from there. When I first learned about inner child healing, again, I didn't realize it was as big a problem as I thought it was. And I thought I had cleared all of it already. What are some of the people that you work with? What do they see after they're done with this? Or what does that transition look like between, I don't think I have a problem, through, wait, I actually have a problem, through, what does that look like for them?
Yeah. So, I mean, the problems can show up as anger. They can show up as depression. They can show up as anxiety. They can show up as addiction. And just like knowing that you're not emotionally regulated is a huge key. And so your relationships are affected. And so if you're one of those people that feel like there's something wrong, but you can't figure out exactly what it is, most likely it stemmed before the age of 7. Because before the age of 7, we are literally sponges for everything that's going on around us. So from the moment of conception to the whole time being in your mother's womb, you are basically taking on the different aspects of the mother's nervous system that whole time. And so it might not even be something that directly happened to you, but it could be something that happened to your mother or something that happened to your father. And so we take on these ancestral challenges as well. So whenever you do the inner child healing and just the healing in general, you are healing from a place of the root cause of what happened. So it's about the feeling. So when we were kids, we needed to feel seen, loved, safe, and heard. And safe is my very favorite one, because I think that that's where we manifest from, is the safety in the nervous system, because that's when you start vibrating at the same level of the whatever it is you're trying to manifest, is whenever your nervous system is regulated and you feel safe in your body. So I think a lot of times people don't realize that they need it, but when you can make that little person feel seen, loved, safe, and heard, oh my gosh, it makes a world of a difference in your emotional regulation right now in this moment.
It basically undoes a lot of damage from the past, not just kind of band-aiding over what's going on, kind of saying man up and deal with it and move on from there. It's just getting the weed out at the root versus, other things. Yeah, absolutely.
And it helps you rewrite your story. You literally rewrite your story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. I noticed huge changes when I started doing it. And it was funny. You would sit down there and chat with your inner child, and it sounds really odd at first, but it's a lot. You uncover a lot when you do this. It's, you realize that you need it. And so you've created Portrayals XR to help people to facilitate that. Tell us a little bit more about exactly what the platform does to be able to help.
Yeah, so our very first solution that we're working on, because it was divinely given to me in the middle of the night, of course, at 3 a.m., it is the inner child. So we are actually taking a picture of you as a child and literally bringing it to life inside of a park scene is the first one we're doing. And it will be virtual reality, or you can just have it on your mobile phone. So then a therapist, life coach, some sort of wellness practitioner can guide you through the inner child healing experience. And we're actually training AI to be an inner child healing practitioner as well. So that way people can do this even if they don't want to have to share any of this with anyone. And so whenever you go into the solution, it is just available for anybody that is wanting to do something like this. You don't have to go see that therapist. You don't have to even leave your house, and you don't have to have the virtual reality goggles, and we will have it on the phone. It just won't be as immersive. And so then it leads you through that, making that child, it's called reparenting, making that child feel those feelings. And then your brain doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future. So right now you rewrite that story and you are more emotionally regulated as an adult. Not that it would be just one and done, right? It's going to take time, but it is so much more immersive and powerful when you can actually truly see that inner child. And that's what we are literally bringing it to life in a video format.
Sounds like it's a hell of a lot easier than what we had to do and just use visualization and a hell of a lot of imagination.
Exactly. And some people can't tap into their imagination very well.
Yeah. Or it's blocked enough that, because that was a defense mechanism. We like to feel safe. We like to feel, that we don't have any threats around us. And so therefore we compartmentalize that part, and getting it back out again is difficult. And so this sort of facilitates that and allows you to be able to go forward. Cool.
Yeah.
So what was the process? What was the series of events that caused you to get to this point? I know you said the 3 a.m. The 3 a.m. thought, which are always the best thoughts. Maybe mistimed. Maybe 3 p.m. better timing, but 3 a.m. That's always when it happens. What happened? What was that vision like for you?
Yeah. So, well, I just woke up in the middle of the night and was like, okay, you're supposed to create an inner child healing experience in virtual reality. I knew nothing about virtual reality. I hadn't even done it before. But of course, I had done the inner child healing work, and it had gotten me into a really amazing, emotionally regulated place. And not that we don't always have work to do, right? There's always growth to be done. But it just, the market definitely just wasn't ready. I went and pitched the idea to locally here in Kansas City, and they were just kind of like, yeah, we're just not ready for this. And with AI and everything that's happening nowadays, we are in just a whole different realm of technology. It's almost like the internet is coming out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful tool. And I think that what you're using it for, like we said earlier, with people who aren't able to go and visualize themselves, it really helps to facilitate that process. And I think it's a great use of AI. I think it's a great use of AI to also help to facilitate that. I think that's one thing that AI is very good at, is being able to reflect things back on you. And sometimes hearing it from the outside makes it a little bit easier. Is that something you guys have found as well with the AI version of this?
Yeah. So, our AI engineer, she's absolutely amazing. And I think that, that's one piece of it that we're developing the whole thing right now, right? We're in the phase of development. And, I would say it should be, how it is like with developers and all that, but it should be pretty quickly in the next couple of months that we're going to have a demo version for therapists. And we're creating not just therapists, practitioners, wellness practitioners, and we're creating a focus group for them to really be able to help us build it, because we want it to be built for them, and we want to walk alongside them, not be like, oh, we're using AI. So that is definitely we don't want to get rid of them, because they are here to help people heal. And so we want to make sure that we are partnering with them to move the whole software forward.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
So I want to go into this a little bit farther, because again, for people that may not have necessarily known that inner child healing is a thing, or even known, or they know about it, but they don't really 100% associate with it. They don't really get it. As much as you're comfortable, can you tell a little bit about what you've done as far as the inner child work and what it's done for you?
Sure. So whenever I went I was with a therapist. We were just on Zoom because it was during COVID. And it was basically like she had me go back to a memory of a traumatic event or something that happened when I was a kid. So I would actually sit in the car, and I was sitting in my car, and then I was looking out the window and just crying. Nobody was noticing that I was crying. And it's like nobody saw me, right? Like, so that's that scene part. Well, what comes with that? Being heard. And so I did not necessarily grow up in the safest environment either. I definitely had to be a bit of a psychologist and figure out what was going to be happening in my house every night. And it was just interesting to go back and make that little girl. I gave her a hug, and I made her feel loved. And I basically did what I am a mom now doing with my kids. And so it was me, like, knowing what my kids need, or thinking I know what they need, right? And going back and giving those things to myself as well. So it was a beautiful experience. It was a little hard to imagine, right? And it does get your heart rate up a little bit. And so that's why we are actually putting different things into the system for biofeedback. So that way, if your heart rate gets too high, it'll literally just shut down and go into more of a meditation, because we want this to be safe for people. We don't want people getting really overly anxious inside of the platform.
Yeah. And once you crack something open, it can get intense very quickly. And I think that's a really good thing to have, is just that feedback that says, oh yeah, we cracked that open. Okay, let's sit with that for a little bit. Let that marinate. Then we'll get on to something else here. Because it is an intense process. And I think that's why a lot of people don't really are intimidated to go into it at first. But it's one of those things, is the good stuff's on the other side of that fear. The good stuff's on the other, doing the work will make you you become a more whole person. And it's hard to explain, like what happens on the other end, but you're much more authentic, much more whole. You can handle, like we said earlier, with especially emotional regulation, huge, there's a huge part in that. And,
it just makes things easier on the other side of it. But sometimes it's hard to see that through the, oh my God, I have to go through this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've talked to quite a few therapists at this point, just telling them about the idea and all of that. And the thing is that you don't really have to visit those traumatic moments over and over again, right? That literally creates your subconscious mind is literally programming over and over again those traumatic events if you keep going back to them. So it is so much more about that feeling than the traumatic event. It's about how it made you feel. So that will keep it a little bit lighter. So it doesn't have to feel so heavy to go back into a certain exact moment of something traumatic that happened when you were a child.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's going to go at your own pace, whatever you can bite off a little, process it, It's a process. It's not going to happen quickly. It shouldn't happen quickly because that can get overwhelming. Absolutely. So now this has been part of the being in alignment. This is a huge word that we hear right now, but I don't think a lot of us really understand it. When you're talking about your marketing side of things, you were also getting your brand into alignment. What do you mean by that?
So your brand, a lot of times, especially if you're the entrepreneur that is creating the brand, a lot of times that alignment comes from your brand being aligned with who you are. Thinking about your values being your brand values. A lot of times they overlap and they correlate. And one of the things that I say that usually surprises people is that you are literally your target market 5 years ago. You learned from something and now you're creating a brand based on what you learned. Because I talk to a lot of coaches. And so that's typical, right? Is that whatever they've experienced, that's what they can help people with. And so whenever you can overcome certain things, you can help others overcome it. And I believe that that's why we're here. We're here to learn things. We're here to, because alignment to me is a divine alignment. It means aligned with whatever it is you believe in, God, creator, universe, whatever it may be. And so that to me is alignment. And whenever your brand, you're really listening to that intuition is what creates the alignment.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, or I've seen people in the past who have been out of alignment with their brands, or they're trying to just sell whatever the hot new thing is, not doing it in alignment. I see this with my clients too, where I'm working with somebody to build a keynote or a podcast on something. And what ends up happening is they're not aligned with how they're presenting it. So they're a storyteller, but they're trying to sell in what they think is the best way to sell. That is, here's all my features, go buy my stuff. And it's not in alignment at all. It doesn't work. Alignment
but what are they focusing on? What's the one thing they're focusing on there, right? They're focusing on making money. They're not focusing on adding value to other people's lives. And when you can do that, you're golden.
And when you focus on that making money, you're focusing on lack and scarcity. I mean, that's the thing. Exactly. It's not that money is not bad. Don't get us wrong. It's not to be poor for the rest of your life, but it's also just coming at it from a mindset of service versus a mindset of scarcity. I'm not going to have enough, so therefore I have to force this to get more of this. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize that difference. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's easier. I mean, being in alignment, knowing what you're doing, it's so much more fun and so much easier, and you will make money a lot easier doing it. It sounds counterintuitive, but it actually really does work very, very well. Yes. So, I love what you're doing with the making sure people are in alignment. I think it's something that a lot of people don't do very well. So I'm really happy, even with the marketing end of it too, that you're keeping that in line here. So, well, I've had a great chat, man. I love what you're bringing to this world. Let us know how can people learn more about Portrayals XR or your marketing company?
Yeah, so we can be found on any social media as Portrayals XR, and we are posting daily, just really trying to get that word out. And as far as my web design and branding agency, it's WebWorks with an X, so that's WEBWORX KC, and you can find us on any of the platforms as well. And follow along, comment, share, all of that is much appreciated.
Absolutely. We'll have links in the show notes as well, so people can go through and take a look at it. So Tricia, thank you so much for being on the show today. Really appreciate you being here, and I really appreciate you going into a topic which I think a lot of people may not understand, and bringing that clarity to it. Really appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle and Grind podcast, where we unpack what it really takes to build something that matters. If today's conversation hit home, do me a favor. Share it with someone who's in the trenches too. And if you're building your own brand, platform, or message and want help turning that story into serious authority, head over to theauthorityforge.com to see how we can help. Until next time, keep showing up, keep shipping, and keep chasing the work that sets you on fire. I'm Andrew, and this was the Hustle and Grind Podcast.